Good morning class. Sairam. In last class we have done all three equations of motion. Today we will start with this example, that is example number 3.4, and this is page number 48. So in this example it is saying that a ball is thrown vertically upward with a velocity of 20 meter per second from the top of a multi-story building. The height of the point from where the ball is thrown is 25 meter from the ground. How high will the ball rise and how long will it take to before the ball hits the ground? And you have to consider g equal to this much. Here we will try to understand this problem. So it is saying that ball is thrown vertically upward with a velocity of 20 meter per second. So say this is 20 meter per second velocity of initial velocity of ball, and it is saying that it is from the top of a multi-story building. The height of the point from where the ball is thrown is 25 meter. So you can consider a building like this or multi-story building like this, and the height of the building is 25 meter. So this is 25 meter, and from here ball will go in upward direction, then it will come back to its original position and then it will hit the ground after some time. Okay, so in the first part, how high will the ball rise? We know that at the maximum point your final velocity will become zero. Only then your ball will come back to its initial position, and this is your initial velocity v naught. So what we have to apply? We will apply first equation of motion. First equation of motion in y direction. So we can write that v equal to u plus at. Okay, so we know that v is given, that is 0, initial velocity is 20 meter per second, and acceleration is in downward direction, that's why we will take it minus 10, and time taken that we have to calculate. From here we can get minus 20 equal to minus 10 into t, or t equal to 2 seconds. Okay, so and the same time is taken by the ball to come back to its original position, that is again 2 seconds. The total time is 4 seconds. It is called time of flight also. And it is saying how high will the ball rise. So for this we can apply second equation now. Second equation of motion. And this equation says that s equal to ut plus half at square. So s we have to determine, and u is initial velocity of the ball, t is time taken, that is 2 seconds, plus half of gt square minus 10 into again time square, that is 2 square. So from here we will get this 2 to 2 raised to the power 2, that is 4 will be cancelled out, answer will be 2 only. So 40 minus 20, that is 20 meter. Okay, so this point is 20 meter above. Now we know that this distance is 20 meter and this distance is 25 meter. Okay, so it is saying how long will it take before the ball hits the ground. Okay, so from here to here again you have to determine the time. So total distance particle has to cover, that is 20 plus 25 meter. Okay, so it will be 45 meter distance has to be covered. To hit the ground. So again we will apply second equation of motion. In y direction. We know that this equation is either you can write x or you can write s also, that is ut plus half at square. Okay, so this time total height that ball will cover, that will be this 20 meter height plus 25 meter height. Then we have our ground. So we will write it 45 equal to ut initial velocity, that is the velocity by which ball will start. We know that at this point u is 0, plus half at square. Okay, or we can apply the value of acceleration, that is 10 into t square. So this will be cancel out by 5, 5 2 ja 10, 5 9 ja 45. So 9 into, or this 2 will be cancel out, 9 equal to t square. So time taken is 3 seconds. Means total time second is 3 seconds from topmost point to bottom part. Okay, and from here to here it is saying that 2 second time is taken from here to here, then again 2 second, and from here we will have only 1 second time remaining. So total time is 2 to 4 and 5 seconds. Okay, so now it is saying that calculate velocity also. When ball will hit the ground, what will be its velocity? So we know that v square equal to u square plus 2as. We can apply this formula for calculating velocity. Or you can write v square equal to u square, that is 0 square, plus 2a into s, that is 45. So from you can write 2 into 10, and this is 450, and basically this is 900 equal to v square, or v equal to 30 meter per second. So this is the solution for this problem. Next topic we have, that it is saying that discuss free fall. Basically what is free fall? Discuss the motion of an object in free fall, neglect air resistance. Okay, so basically in this question it is saying that we have to discuss basically graph. Okay, and graph of velocity versus time, and graph of displacement versus t. That will be like this. So to understand the relation of velocity versus time for motion under free fall, we can consider following situation. Like we have a ball which is released. Okay, means its initial velocity u is 0. Then it is going to downward direction. Suppose at this point its velocity is v. Then we know that v is given by u plus at or u plus gt. So it will be gt only. We can say that velocity is directly proportional to time. Moreover, if we talk about vector quantity, means if we talk about in vector form, the direction of velocity is in downward. Okay, so we can say that velocity increasing but to negative of y-axis. To plot this graph, we have to relate this with equation y equal to minus of mx. So for this we know that graph is plotted like this. It will start from origin because there is no interception, value of c is 0, and it will be like this, and on the y-axis we will denote our velocity, and on the x-axis we will denote our time. Next we have displacement versus time graph. Case second we have, that is displacement versus time graph. For this, first of all we have to write our relation or physical equation, that is S equal to ut plus half at square. Now we know that for a ball which is released from a building, its initial velocity is 0, and from here its displacement is s, or you can consider it y also. So this y can be written as y equal to ut plus half at square. Okay, why we are taking negative g? Because displacement is in negative direction, and also this y we can say is proportional to t square, so it is a relation of parabola. Okay, more specifically it will be like this, that is minus of t square. So graph will be plotted like this. This is your displacement y, and here we have time. This will be nature of the graph. Now in your NCERT book you can see that your VT graph is like this. Okay, straight line, and this was our VT graph. If you remember, it is like same, and then we have displacement s, or you can say y versus t graph. It is like this parabola. Here also we got the same nature of displacement versus time graph, that is our parabola, and this is due to this equation, y is proportional to minus of t square. The same relation it is using, that is y equal to minus half gt square. Now one more thing you can understand why we plot parabola like this. In the first 1 second the displacement of the particle is 0 to minus 10. Here you can see more clearly that in 1 second your displacement is this much only, 10 meter, because ball is falling from a given height. Its velocity is almost 0 at this point. Then in 2 seconds, or you can say in next 1 second, it has covered distance up to this meter. Like this, and in third second it has covered distance up to this meter, and you can clearly see that in next 1 second it has traveled this length or this much distance, or you can say more distance, and in last 1 second, that is from t equal to 3 to t equal to 4, you will say this graph will be like this, and distance is 50 to 90 meter, almost up to 40 meter, or it may be near to 40 meter. So in each 1 second distance is increasing. Okay, why? Because its velocity is keep on increasing. As ball will fall down, its velocity will keep on increasing due to acceleration. That's why it will cover more distance in last 1 second. So that's why nature of the graph will be like this. It can't be a straight line. In fact, it will be a parabola. Next topic, it is saying about stopping distance of the vehicle. Here we will understand what is the stopping distance. So it is saying that when brakes are applied to a moving vehicle, then distance it travels before stopping is called stopping distance. It is an important factor for the road safety and depends on the initial velocity v0 and the braking capacity or deceleration minus a, that is caused by the braking. Drive an expression for stopping distance of a vehicle in terms of v0 and a. So here we will try to understand. Suppose you have your vehicle and you suddenly see one person ahead of you, okay, and as soon as this driver will see that one person is standing on the road, he will try to stop his vehicle, okay. So suppose at this point, from point number A, and this is point number B where the other person is standing, from here to here, suppose your distance is s, okay. So this s is called stopping distance, means within this much distance your vehicle should stop after applying brake. Now suppose retardation of the car is a, that is in backward direction, and at this point your vehicle velocity, when your vehicle will reach near to this person, its velocity should be 0. So we can apply third equation of motion. We can say that v square equal to u square plus 2as. Our final velocity should be 0. Initial velocity is v0 square plus acceleration is minus a because it is basically in backward direction, and stopping distance is s. From here we can get minus v0 square equal to minus 2as, or stopping distance s equal to v0 square upon 2a. So this is the expression for stopping distance in terms of initial velocity and retardation. In your NCERT book, it has not mentioned formula that we have got, but it is saying that stopping distance, here you can read, stopping distance is proportional to the square of the initial velocity. As we got this formula, we can clearly see that our stopping distance s is directly proportional to square of initial velocity. Means if you will make 2 times, means if you will increase your velocity 2 times, then your stopping distance will become 4 times, okay. So same thing, it is saying that doubling the initial velocity increases the stopping distance by a factor of 4, that is 4 times, okay. Then it is talking about some example. We can calculate that by our formula. And why it is important? Because stopping distance is an important factor considering in the setting speed limit. For example, in school zone, you must have seen that on the side of the road there is some signboard where it is mentioned like speed limit is 20 km/h, say, okay, or sometime at the side of the road it is mentioned 30 km/h. That is our speed limit, so that we can stop our vehicle within stopping distance. So this is all for today. In the next lecture we will start with the topic relative velocity, okay, and we will do some numerical also. Till then you can note it down all the important point in your fair notebook from this given presentation. Okay, thank you. Sai Ram.